Hello, I'm Jerry Lintner, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first Selectman, Mary Glassman, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. Mary.
Jerry, welcome to you and SCTV for coming down to Town Hall today.
You know, to quote my granddaughter, she doesn't say this about Simsbury, but it's one of her common responses. And when we were talking about what will we cover today, my granddaughter's response, who is like almost 6, oh, and we're doing a puzzle. We did a 5+ puzzle, we did a 6+ puzzle, and we're doing a 9+ puzzle tonight. And she would say, that's boring.
Well, Simsbury's not boring.
Well,
that's for sure.
But that's
in fact,
an
according
expression
to
she uses.
Hartford Magazine, we're hip. We're #1 town for hip.
For hip, yeah.
Yes.
Explain that. For young people, it says we're the hippest town of all the, what, I don't know, valley towns?
I
or
guess so.
Something.
So we have a lot going on. It is summer, so things are a little slower, as they should be during the summer months. And we have a lot going on. And so get your blankets and take your picnic basket to the Hartford Symphony concerts, which we'll be celebrating the 4th of July tonight. So congratulations and happy 4th to you and to all of our residents.
And then tomorrow, the community band and the ice cream socials at Park and Rec.
Yes.
Of course, it's too late. If you didn't watch this before we taped it, you missed it. So.
But hopefully folks will check the calendar, and there's plenty of things to do. We have some examples of some locally grown organic vegetables, and these are from the community farm, which is a town of Simsbury owned farm and is leased to a nonprofit group to hold visits, and they have petting animals, and they also have summer camps. And
let's back
and
up on that.
the food goes to the poor of Simsbury. That's where the food that's grown.
Okay, so the community farm, didn't the Enos donate that 1,000 years back?
Yes, this was land donated to the town on Wolcott Road, and it was privately farmed for many years, and several years ago we put an RFP, request for proposals out, and got a group of local residents, chaired initially by Denny Barney, who since passed away but was a long-serving member of the Planning Commission and chairman, and a group also involving the head mistress of Ethel Walker School, Bessie Spears, and Diane Nash, a local advocate. And the town partnered with that group, and the land was turned over to the nonprofit to grow vegetables and return them to sell them, some of them, and to also grow them to be given away for folks through our social service department. Well, so every year, thousands of pounds of food are distributed to those in need, and the vegetables that are sold are also, the money is also gone back to social services. So it's a wonderful program.
Being a Yankee for only 40 years and coming from the Midwest, they used to have out there, and I think maybe this was for a while what they called poor farms. Mm-hmm. So the indigent who really were homeless would literally live there, and work the farm, and, from the profits of the farm would sustain an existence. But then it seemed like there were years, well, I know it hasn't been that for years, but then there were a bunch of cows there, and there was a dairy, so that guy was leasing it, right?
Exactly. So the land had been leased by a farmer, and then any monies paid would go back to the town. There obviously is not a need for folks to live on a farm now, right. So we trying to respect the deed and the wishes of the family to use it in the appropriate manner that it was given to the town in trust. And so we feel this is a really good way of giving back to the community, honoring the deed, and helping support those who really need fresh fruits and vegetables and can benefit from our programs.
Well, I saw an ad someplace, I think, for 2 dinners on the farm this summer. So those must be fundraisers, I'm assuming.
Yes, the Board of Selectmen will have before them on our next meeting approval for 2 farm dinners, one in July and one in September, which helps raise money to maintain the farm and also, again, is used for the poor of Simsbury. And some exciting news that the Board of Selectmen will also consider is the community farm has teamed up with the Gifts of Love, which has been a nonprofit in our community, in the region for many years, and to partner with them so that we can more fully integrate the good work of the Gifts of Love volunteers with the volunteers who are needed to help support the community farm. Okay. And I know that the Gifts of Love is very generously supported by our community, and I think this is a good way for the volunteers to really give back in many different ways, whether it's through working on the farm or helping connect those in need with the fruits of their labor.
Now,
so
this may be a rumor, but I thought I heard somewhere that at those dinners on the farm, then each of the selectmen, and starring the first selectman, is going, I don't know, was put on a skit, or you individually do a talent thing, or
no,
what was that about?
I don't know anything about that.
No?
No, that's something that...
I thought that was a condition
I don't
of
think
the dinners.
So. No, but the
I'll
tickets
have to
are
go
on
back
sale,
and, see
and
the
I'm
ad
getting
I got.
my...
I mean, wouldn't that be great? I mean, wouldn't that be great?
Don't give them any ideas.
What would your talent?
Yeah, I'll donate. I'll volunteer to do anything.
What
I
would
don't
you
know.
do? Would you
I wouldn't
dance?
sing.
Tap
That's
dance?
for sure.
You don't
I
sing?
wouldn't sing.
You don't sing?
Well, I did.
Maybe just
I did tap
give
dance.
us a peek. You're a tap
as
dancer.
a young
So
woman,
you think you can dance?
I don't know.
That's it.
Well,
It'll be
you
a
just
dance
revealed my
contest.
secret right
and
here
Come to the community farm dinner.
SCTV.
And the selectmen will do a So You Think You Can Dance, and we'll vote on them that night.
We'll talk about it.
I want to see. Oh no, John Hampton's not anymore.
No,
I thought
so
he
we'll
could
have
do
to,
hip hop stuff, but
see what the other talents of the selectmen are. But.
yeah. Okay. Well, that's
Well,
good.
and if
That's
you
very
want
exciting.
some fresh fruits and vegetables, they can be purchased at the farmers market every Thursday from 3 to 6.
Now, I
right
saw
here at
something
Simsbury
again
Square.
in one of the local papers that there is a new volunteer coordinator for that. And I thought, wow, that's a volunteer job? That's a big job.
It's a
I
paid
think.
position through Simsbury Main Street, but it's
okay.
coordinated through Simsbury Main Street, and it's a great place to buy. Last
wife
week I
loves
bought some locally made strawberry rhubarb pie and some goat cheese, and just great locally grown organic food. So it's come on down Thursdays at the farmers market.
And is it still in Simsbury Square?
Still in Simsbury Square every Thursday.
Okay.
Not 4th of July, but every Thursday after that through
Okay.
August.
Well, let's see. What else can we talk about? We talked about development last week. The apartments down there by Millwrights,
Yes.
are they finished now? There's sure a lot of them.
So they're still underway. They're not completed yet, but there's apartments at Millwright that are for rent. And there are also, we just had the groundbreaking for the townhouses, which are the next phase of the development. And those will be for sale. So there's a mix of both retail, which is the restaurant, with apartments, with condominiums, townhouses actually, so independent, freestanding townhouses. And this all came about because of the study that we did in Simsbury. We feel it's really important to plan for the future of our town and not let it happen, but rather guide it with a vision that we have. And so the idea to do the downtown charrette developed that there was a shortage of housing in Simsbury. And as a result, we had a number of developers step forward, saw a market opportunity, and stepped in to provide that market availability. So this is really the town's way of creating some economic development rather than sitting back and waiting for a developer to come to us and say, well, I want to build X. Well, we're saying to the developers, we want you to build X. And we're taking that same approach to the Hartford Insurance Group.
I was just going to say, because, then wasn't there sort of a mini charrette on, or meeting anyhow, on creating a village area in Weetog?
Yes.
Because that is Weetog. And already one sort of popped up across from Bidwell's there with the Dunkin' Donuts and a couple other little businesses. And then behind those are another set of apartments that looks like a sizable complex.
Yes, exactly.
So then if, the Hartford property, which goes right up to the Avon line, that could be a whole new cluster. But when they talk about Weetog Village, are they talking further north or in that area?
Weetock Village is really which used to be the center of town, where the fountain is, where the corner of Route 10 and 185 is.
That was
It's
the center
the
of
gateway.
town once?
Yeah, once upon a time.
Really?
So, yeah, very interesting.
Huh.
But we're taking that same approach to the Hartford Insurance Group. In fact, we'll be talking over the next couple months of hosting a public event in September. We are in the process of interviewing. We just completed interviews of 3 consultants who the Hartford will be retaining to walk us through this program. The Hartford Insurance Group is our largest taxpayer. They also have a 655,000 square foot building that they'll be shortly putting on
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
market.
right. This is the senior center that combines
Right.
with the
Other
late
ideas.
evening club.
And then this 174 acres. So what we've done, we've partnered with the Hartford Insurance Group and CB Richard Ellis, which has been retained by the Hartford to market the building, to bring in a consultant to help really work with the community to talk about what we'd like to see there, what the amount of tax revenue could be generated with the different options, and also try to work with the agent to get some interested developers to participate in the process, or to at least observe the process, so that we can be ready to go as the Hartford starts to reallocate some of their resources. So wonderful opportunity for the town. Very few opportunities in the state to really guide the future development of 174 acres of prime development land. So we take this responsibility very seriously. We take it very responsibly, and we're really going to work hard to partner with the Hartford to
Maybe
make
we
the best
should
decision.
approach, like Target or someone, and see if we could have kind of a mall there.
Well, actually, what we're
wait a
looking
minute.
at.
Target did try
We
to
did,
build that.
and there was a proposal, and it was not approved. And we are looking at the cost-benefit analysis of retail versus commercial versus housing, and we'll have that
How do
information.
they rank generally?
present.
Retail's pretty low, isn't
Low,
it? Yeah.
very low, and
So office is the highest?
commercial with personal property. So anything
Really?
that brings in with it computers or data or equipment,
With its personal
with it.
property. Yeah, because otherwise residential, years back, I know it had to be a pretty expensive house to pay its own way by the taxes when you consider the educational budget.
Exactly.
Now, actually, though, I think student size is decreasing, so maybe more affordable houses carry their own weight. I
Well,
don't know.
it used to be a calculation the town used was 2.5 children per household.
Yeah.
So if a house generated more in taxes than 2.5 children, which is very rare, because that
Right.
as the cost per pupil becomes about 13,000, then that's a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
So we use that as a rule of thumb, depending on.
So that's when we begin the sex education courses. So now
So-
the average child in a household is
Well,
1.25.
Well, it is declining, and that brings other opportunities for the town, as well as we plan for future needs of the community.
Right.
Building a new school is no longer part of that conversation now.
Right.
As everything's cyclical, and that could change. But as we do our 5-year projections, building new schools no longer is part of that conversation. As we head into the fall, kids don't want to hear this because they're off on having family vacations, and that's rightly so. But we're already planning for the fall, so we will be having conversations about school security. The school Board of Education is working in partnership with the town, completed a survey and an audit of our school security systems and our building security, our public security buildings. We'll be bringing forward some recommendations. The good news is that we've thought about school security for a long time, and Simsbury has always been on the forefront of really protecting our residents in terms of emergency response. So some of the recommendations that we see coming out of some studies we've already implemented, such as locking school buildings, moving offices to the front of the building. That was one of the recommendations that we supported during the renovations of the high school. So, having a high school
right,
office so that
They have to
so that the door is
process
locked,
through.
and so that there's some contact of seeing who's at the building and letting everyone in. We added a school resource officer for our junior high in this year's budget. So when the fall comes, we'll have an additional officer in our schools. We are looking at our public spaces. We want them to be open, accessible to the public, at the same time making sure that there are adequate lighting and adequate systems in place should someone have need for a response. So we're already planning for the fall.
Okay, that brings several questions to my mind, but they sort of maybe the segue, and because I got here a little early and I noticed there was a meeting in the main meeting room that you were a part of, and it was, I guess, Elizabeth Este getting opinions from veterans on veterans?
Yes, so the Congresswoman was looking for a place to hold a veterans forum, and we offered Simsbury. We're thrilled that Simsbury was chosen. We were able to hear from a lot of our veterans, many of our local veterans, which was wonderful. The town has an excellent partnership with our veterans and our
Get
veterans
a tax
groups.
discount.
We offer a tax discount, so if folks are veterans, first, thank you for your service, and second, contact our office and let us know how you can access some of those benefits that we offer. We also have a very strong social service department, so we, while folks have opportunities to reach out to the Veterans Administration, there also are opportunities for the town to be supportive in connecting you with programs or services that you might need, whether it's financial, mental health support, family support, and our social service department can connect you whether those programs are available locally or whether they're available through the VA or through some other program.
Well, then a couple things that have little to do with the subject of the meeting, but that I found rather interesting. First of all, one of our policemen, and I think our police force is outstanding, so I don't know how he knew me. I hope it's not, I wonder. Anyhow, he was standing there in the hall very quietly and looking kind of stern. So I shook hands, introduced myself. He said, "Oh, I know who you are." Oh, God, what did I do that I can't even remember? But then I thought, and then I made a crack. I said, "Oh, so are you Este's bodyguard?" And he, shh. Because that's the other part. In the meeting, they were taping it. But I thought, I bet he is now just as a security measure. I mean, is that so? Do we have a policeman around when there are meetings that might potentially?
Actually, Jerry, that's a very good question. After Congresswoman Gifford's attack in
that's
Arizona,
what I was wondering.
Our police chief, Peter Ingbertson, who does a great job serving our community.
Oh, he's great.
And leading our department. We did have a conversation about whether it was in the town's best interest to provide support whenever our federal officials are holding an event in town. And the chief recommended, and we supported his decision, that we do offer support, police presence when these events are held. We think it's important that people who attend these events feel comfortable.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable.
It does
We want to
cross
make
your
sure,
mind these days.
well, that if there's a need or something should happen, we have a quick response. So we found it works very well. It's also an opportunity for our residents, like you just did, to introduce yourself to a local officer. We think that's helpful. Our philosophy and our mission in policing in Simsbury is community policing.
Well, in that
and
academy
that means
they
knowing
have,
who people are. Exactly.
There's always a waiting list for that,
There
I
is.
think. Yeah.
And it's important that you and our residents know our officers, that they know them by name, that they know you. And this is just another way that we feel, and we support the chief's decision, that we do want to make sure that people feel comfortable when they're speaking with their federal officials.
Is that ongoing? Do they still have that civilian academy?
Yes.
I know there used to be a waiting
Yes,
list.
there's
So
a waiting
if people
list
were
still.
interested, do they call the chief's office?
They can
and
call town hall and we can connect you.
You learn to shoot. Oh, maybe you
It's,
don't get to shoot anymore.
No, you do. There's
when you graduate, you get
there's
an automatic weapon.
awareness, arms awareness. It's
Have they stopped that part? The
no,
auto-
they're
the
it's very
automatic
important.
weapon you still get
no,
on
not
graduation?
automatic. No. But
It's
we
a
get.
20
But there
clip.
is a nice celebratory dinner. And again, it's all about a community. making sure that we address the needs of our community. We take care of our own, and I think that's what makes Simsbury
Everybody who's
so
gone
great.
through it that I know think it's just wonderful.
It
you
is.
ride with the policeman. You
You
get
have a
real
respect for what
insight.
our officers do on a day-to-day basis. You have a comfort level to know who to talk to if you have a need, and we want people to feel comfortable calling us and not being afraid. Being afraid that it's silly. Or there's a silly question, or in cases of medical emergencies, sometimes folks are hesitant to call 911 because they're not sure. We want you to call, and the best thing is that you call us and you don't need us. So we
There
we
used
love
to be
those
some mean woman
calls.
on 9/11 because when bears were first new in town, and then my wife and I driving down Plank Hill, and between the two cemetery properties was a bear.
Well, now bear are not so popular anymore because we're used to them. Now it's moose that we aren't used
well,
to
I think
seeing
you're
that we have in
moving the
town.
bears too. But anyhow, so this bear was crossing the road and galloping along. Not a huge bear, toward the baseball fields and the skate park. All these kids are there. So I call over and I call 911. I said, there's a bear that just crossed Plank Hill, headed toward the baseball fields. They said, is this an emergency? I said, well, you tell me. Do we care if there's a bear in the middle of the kids playing baseball? So
And we do.
she's
We
gone.
do care,
She's gone.
and we do want you to call us, and we do want to provide information, and we do bear awareness programs for.
We
for
used to have a
for
bear
kids, and
who would come back actually behind the town hall at the top of the ridge there. So I think they do eat food out of the dugouts, when
I'm
kids
sure
aren't
they
there.
do. I'm sure
And
they
then
do.
he would cross the road and he would come right by our house and go up Highview, which turns, and then go through the neighbor's yard at the end of Highview and cross Seminary. And there'd always be a police car just about a half block behind him and trailing really slowly. And it was all kind of the neighbors, eating, but he or she hasn't been there for a long
Yeah,
while.
they move
They
around.
move.
They
Well, I
do.
think they get a little help moving sometimes. I think we move them to South Glastonbury.
I don't have any evidence of that.
No,
I'm
no,
not aware
no.
of that.
Okay,
No.
so and the other thing I saw, and this was kind of like out of a movie, except they were so young. So the reason I think I was being hushed, there was a pretty professional-looking sound system in there, and somebody adjusting it through earphones as the different people spoke.
Oh, well, during the Veterans Forum today, we heard a lot about the need for processing veterans' benefits, that it's taking a lot of time, and there's concern as more troops get deployed that the claims will be more flooded, and that'll take even longer. So in the meantime, I encourage folks to contact the town because we do have resources to help in the interim to get your medical benefits or VA benefits. We also heard some discussions about how the Veterans Administration and the hospital is responding to some concerns. One issue they talked about was that folks couldn't find a parking spot, so now they've implemented valet service for veterans. They're introducing a female veterans wing and clinic. So for our female veterans, what you need to know is that the VA in the next 90 days will be adding a special women's wing and to address some of the needs of women that they're currently not being met. So that was a big issue that we heard about.
So what was the guy with the sound system and the earphones? Who was
I don't
he
know.
with?
The town just provides the
Provided the
space,
place. Well,
right? We're not running the program.
Yeah, I
so.
figured they were probably trying
Yeah.
to document the interviews or something.
Yeah,
but it was
maybe.
pretty heavy-duty gear they had there. So then, when my friend on the police force kind of looked at me like, shh. And then I looked in and I saw you. And then I saw this sound system guy. Oh, wow, maybe they have really sensitive stuff and they're concerned it'll pick up the noise in the
maybe.
hall. But then there were these three guys standing at the door. And the one turned around and, oh, my God, he's the tallest kid I've ever seen. His name is Adam. And maybe they're interns or maybe they're employed by Elizabeth. But
I think the
sort of
congresswoman
aides.
brought her staff, and we just
Yeah.
provide the
But
space.
boy, can he work. He turned around and he came over, great big smile like this, and put his hand out. He said, I'm Adam, and like he was really looking like So would you shut up so that nobody did it in such a great way? I thought,
Well, that's good.
wow,
That's
this
great.
guy has a future.
He does.
So-
And then, it's really great that that our Congresswoman would be here in Simsbury to educate us on the availability of veterans benefits as well, because we want to know where to send our residents for help for programs that we can't offer or that we don't provide at the local level. So that was another opportunity to hear how the local, state, and federal benefits can work together to help support our veterans and their families. And we can't say it enough that we're here in our community, take this responsibility seriously to support our veterans, to thank them for their service, and to try to help in any way we can. So we do have some programs available.
Well, we haven't talked about the weather yet, and probably just because we don't want to be depressed. It's been so gray and so humid. But all in all, like I do remember the Mozart concert, you thought, oh, it's going to get so rained out. It turned into a beautiful evening. And I understood the Harry Connick turnout was good. How's all of that going?
It's great. In fact, we'll get an update at our next Selectman meeting, but we implemented some new procedures this year. The Performing Arts Center board came forward and wanted to change the concerts so that for the symphony concerts you can bring your own picnic, but for the non-symphony concerts you're not allowed to bring food in, and
or drink.
Or drink. So it's a little different from what our patrons are used to, but the first concert, there's some bugs that need to be worked out, signage and things, but overall, there was a lot of revenue generated from that change in policy, so that money will go toward helping to pay for the improvements needed at the site. And folks seem to enjoy the concerts, so get out your calendar. There's plenty of concerts left. If you go to a non-symphony concert,
There's some big names.
bring money to purchase food. And we have Peter Frampton left, Emmylou Harris left, all of the wonderful symphony concerts, the Frank Sinatra Remembrance Concert, wonderful
Frank's
concerts.
not going to be there, huh?
No. And if you want to play golf, our golf course is open for business. We've got new pools, new renovated Simsbury Farms, lots of camps, lots of things to do. Get on your bike, take a walk. Our trails are open. Everything's
to be
great.
a kid
It's not
today.
boring.
To be a kid, no. You know, actually, the kids, like our daughter, Sim's Boring was its nickname, but they look at it quite a bit of different. I mean, and she lived in New York for 8 years, so and then it was kind of like, boy, it'd be nice to step out and have it be green, you know, and just like take a walk. Well, Mary, we're winding to a close. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very
Thank
much.
you, and
I appreciate
happy
it.
4th
and
to
I
you
love
and your family,
Your
and
red, white, and
thank
blue
you.
there. That's great. And hey, all of you, thank you. Happy Independence Day, and hopefully we'll see you next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.